You have a dinner coming up soon, right?
Yeah, March 11th. It's more, it's sort of a retirement. I'm expecting a Rolex, by the way.
Okay. A nice one.
But it's just to get together like a lot of people that I have, had contact with over the years, either students or as just, people I know, a couple of hundred maybe. Yeah, right. Give a chance to take care of some projects that that I've been working on, or maybe new ones that I take on. Yeah, check, by the way.
Now that you don't have sort of as much operational day-to-day noise, what sort of projects do you want to work on?
Big picture projects, things I feel can make a difference. And there are lots of different angles, but I really want to promote this community aspect of programming, because I think there's a lot more power in a program if you can get an entire community behind you. So, that model doesn't really exist in the sense that you have a school or you have a club or you have one chess-related, activity, but you don't have a whole community doing chess on a continuing basis, day in, day out. And I think that's what you need to keep it sustainable.
You mentioned chess in the schools. You've obviously been doing this for a long, long time. How do you see it functioning in early grade versus like middle grade or later on?
So again, it's quite different. I mean, it's relatively easy to give everybody an exposure. The question is what is relevant later, and I think a different approach again has to be taken, and the pacing of the instruction has to be quite different depending on the grade levels you're working with. So clearly what you would do in middle school is not the same as you would do in elementary. But that's why I wrote the history book, for example, right? If I think it could serve as a text for some kind of chess elective, middle school elective, high school elective. The reading level is at a middle school level. So we had it tested, for the reading level while I was writing the book, and they said that it came out around the 6th grade and higher reading level. So that is just perfect for the purpose.
And what's the name of the book for people listening?
Oh, the history book is Great Moves, Learning Chess Through History. And, so I wrote that to show the intersection between social studies and chess.
Yeah, it's a really, really interesting region. So it seems like, I know you've talked before about chess and STEM and chess and logic. You can see very quickly how you get there.
Yeah, well, the logic totally makes sense, right? I mean, are you going to look before you cross the street, or are you going to end up like a pancake? So yeah, it obviously fits. But the STEM is interesting because it is the, what kind of thinking goes into the sciences, and, you have the same kind of thinking involved in chess. Actually, I find the same kind of thinking was involved in law as well. It's all in the decision-making process in chess, what you have to go through, right? And I think chess can stir an interest in science and in maths. Certainly, I've had students who have been very bad math students who took another look at math after they started playing chess, and now are, very good, in that area. I think that, it's very powerful that way. Now, I have one story on that I can tell you.
Yeah, tell us.
So I did have the good fortune to have lunch with Greg Chamitoff, who was the commander of the space station. And I knew he played chess in high school, so I asked him whether his interest in becoming an astronaut had anything to do with his interest in chess, and he said there's a lot to do with it. He said it's pointed me in that direction.
For what sort of reasons?
Well, I guess it was the thinking behind it, and the certain inquisitive nature as to what could be achieved and what was out there to be discovered. So yes, it was very interesting to hear a famous person say that.
Very interesting. And what do you say about logic and move order? I definitely found the same thing. I find for business, it's incredibly valuable. Just that same, how do you think through a problem? How do you pull out of a situation? How do you look at it like a chessboard? And
yeah, I remember you saying something once about how it helped you to make quick decisions or to assess a situation quickly and then act on it, right?
Yeah, both. In speed chess especially. I mean, even, long game chess gets time pressured after a while. Dealing with that time pressure and that mental load while time is ticking by, I find to be incredibly useful. As a result, I don't get nervous. I got that all out of the way in 7th grade.
Yeah, perfect, yeah. No, I mean, I think there's so many things you can learn. So why do you think this is not so good for you?
Because I'm playing you.
Right answer again. Okay, maybe I'll go there. So materially, I don't have an advantage. Space-wise, I do have an advantage. And that can be converted to something more tangible.
Yeah, it seems a lot like life in terms of, in business, what I always negotiate for is optionality. Because there's an intrinsic value to it.
Right. And I think that has to be recognized, the value of that, right?
I remember you teaching me that when you're losing on space, trade. So I'll work on that.
You're right. But, this whole idea of taking a concept and then using it to, improve your position. There's a lot of people don't understand chess as they should because they think it's one of these, like you get up into the ring, you take one swing and the guy is knocked out and you win. Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that.
No.
At all.
Not at all.
No, you have to build it. It's like anything else. It's a process. You have to build towards something. And each step improves your position a little bit, and it's a gradual process.
Yeah.
When you understand that, you play better.
Yeah. It's a great thing to teach your kid, especially nowadays.
And Will is closing in. It's closing in. It's causing me all kinds of problems. So what should I do here?
I have no doubt that you have a good idea. You mentioned some soft skills with chess.
Yes.
What skills especially do you think?
Focus and concentration, time management, just the ability to consider options. That you're never forced into like one way of handling something. So, for example, if you're being attacked, and you should always consider, obviously you consider direct defense, but you also have to consider a counterattack as a form of defense, right? Something to take over the initiative, to understand that, because that just puts the onus back on the other person. So it's the options.
It's interesting. Now I teach exactly that to people in our business, where you always have 1,000 options, and unfortunately, if you haven't been taught it, you think that there's one or two.
Right. Maybe you can have my rook.
You've talked to me before about your interest in sort of early American chess, and told me some fascinating stories about it all.
Yeah, I unearthed a lot of interesting facts when I did the research for my book. Benjamin Franklin was the first chess player. In fact, Benjamin Franklin wrote the first book on chess ever published in the US.
Oh, fascinating.
And had no chess in it at all.
Well, you just said that chess teaches life, so.
Well, so Franklin played chess, George Washington played chess, Thomas Jefferson played chess. So a friend of mine is a chess collector. So George Washington's chess set came down on Martha Washington's side of the family. And in fact, there's a picture in my book of George Washington's chess set.
Oh, interesting.
So we know that that he played. Jefferson, I found something interesting. So if you go to Monticello, you'll see that in his study there's a chessboard set up permanently at a chess table. But what I found was that Jefferson had a copy. He owned a copy of Philidor's book called L'Analyse des échecs. So Philidor is a great French player from the previous century. And so Jefferson had a copy of this. And then before he went to France, he sold a few of his belongings. And one of the things he sold was his copy of L'Analyse des échecs. And guess who bought it?
I have no idea.
James Monroe. Wow. So, it's stuff like this. It's just fascinating to me. And I would never have known this if I didn't do the research for the book.
That's really cool that the founding fathers were chess players.
Yes, they were. In fact, someone said that like when Madison wanted to meet for, they say he would send a code, and the code would be, "Would you like to join me for a game of chess?"
Something socially acceptable.
Right.
It's within my control.
It's within your control. Well, let's try to mess up your control.
That's less fun.
That is called a destructive sacrifice. And as you can imagine, the term comes from simply mess up the other person's position. Okay, check.
Yeah, that's going to go.
And no, I could do check, but this, why not?
It's more destructive. That's all right. I didn't take the rook.
Ever heard of the threat is stronger than the execution? And I think that this a lot of people have difficulty being down material if they don't see an immediate way to regain it or something. It's like, you lost some money gambling and you want to get...
Try to win it back right away.
Immediately, right? You don't have to. No. You can win it back tomorrow. It just depends if you have the position.
Can I manage to just sit and do nothing?
I think that's your best option.
Yeah.
So my plan would be, should you do nothing, right? My plan would be, first of all, I will take that simply to tie your other rook down.
Yeah.
So we would get a position like this.
Yeah, because I've been thinking about, try something like that too.
So then I transfer the queen to the file of the king.
Yeah.
Right? We are free to move away if you wish, right? But then the idea is to try and advance this pawn, yes, like maybe the queen should have gone here and you had this idea.
Do I think so?
Oh, no. So now, once I provoke...
then all sorts of problems.
Serious problems.
Yeah.
So I could sacrifice my queen and go check, and here, and check, here, and mate.
Yeah.
Yeah. With a queen sacrifice, yeah.
Yeah.
So again, it's the position gave rise to the opportunity. So you have to be opportunistic as well.
Yeah, and work slowly to get to that position. Well, thank you, guys.